2025 is somehow just about to come to a close. This year has flown by. I literally have no idea how we're already here or what I've even done this year. But with a new month comes a new monthly TBR and the first TBR of 2026. So here are all the books that I'm hoping to get to in January. My list is not too crazy because I do want to lean into mood reading a little bit more and just kind of picking things up whenever I feel like it. But I do have some book clubs and challenges and goals that I want to stick to, as well as some library holds that are coming in. I'm going to go over those ones, and then whatever else I have time for, I'd like to just kind of pick things up as I feel like it whenever I'm in the mood for it and just be a little bit more mood ready. So I'll start with my book clubs and challenges. So the in-person book club that I'm part of, we're now switching to being every other month instead of every month. So the pick that we have for January is going to be a fantasy read, and we all voted on Lightlark. I might not actually read this one. I'm personally just not interested in it, but I'm going to add it to the TBR because I might be surprised, but I'm generally not a huge fan of this type of fantasy romance. But granted, I have tried very little of it. It's just from what I've gathered. I don't think it's really for me, but I'll give it a shot and see how I feel about it. Cozy Quill Book Club is reading The Fellowship of Bakers and Magic, which is of course a cozy fantasy. This one sounds delightful. It has to do with a magical baking competition, but the main character is a human and has no magic, but her friend enters her into it anyways. This sounds like it's going to be so cute and fun. I love any kind of like magical competition sort of thing, especially the low stakes kind where it's just like a reality TV competition sort of idea, but set in a cozy magical world. That sounds like it's going to be right up my alley, and I can't wait to get to this one. It's also been on my TBR for almost 2 years, so it'll be nice to get one that's a bit older off of my TBR as well. Now this next one I'm a little nervous about, but I've decided to join Becca and the Books with her catch-up book club. I've been wanting to join it, but the books that she picks are so intimidating and I'm too scared to read them and like commit to these huge fantasy series, but I do really want to get to these series and I need some kind of motivation to actually pick them up. And the new one that she's starting is The Shadow of the Gods by Gwynne, which is one that I really want to read, but I'm so intimidated by this book because it's massive. It's honestly actually not even that big. It was 480 pages, I'm pretty sure I saw, which is not gigantic, but it just feels so chunky and intimidating and intense that I haven't even thought about reaching for it and didn't even add it to my Goodreads TBR, even though I do actually want to read this book. But if there is one way to get me to do so, it's to put it into a challenge or a book club, and then I'm almost guaranteed to at least give it a shot. And so I'm finally going to give it a try, and this one will be the pick for January and February, so I'm not sure when I'll start it. It'll probably take me quite a bit to get through this book because from what I'm gathering it's quite dense, but I'll probably start it at least in January and maybe finish it in February, but either way, it's going on the TBR at long last. Wish me luck. And then for the buzzword challenge this year, I've decided to try and combine the regular buzzword and the covers challenge. Last year I was intentionally trying to have a separate book for the regular one and the covers challenge, so I was reading 2 books for buzzword every month. But this year, because I do want to have a bit more space for mood reading, I am going to do my best at least to pick one book that covers both prompts. And for January, I do actually have one singular book on my TBR that'll work for both. So the regular buzzword prompt for January is to have either before or after in the title, and the buzzword covers challenge for January is to have some kind of internal body part on the cover. And Kayla did specify that does mean blood counts as well. So I'm going to be going with After the Forest, which has a little bit of blood on the cover right by the rabbits. And this one's been on my TBR for over 2 years now, so it'll also be great to get off of there. And it's been on my TBR for so long that I fully forget what it's about, but it says it's a dark and enchanting fantasy debut from Kell that explores the repercussions of a childhood filled with magic and a young woman contending with the truth of happily ever after, which tells me nothing about the plot, but that's fine. I'll go into it pretty blind. Now, I have not filmed the video yet, but I'm planning on filming my 2026 reading goals video very soon. I have already written down all of my goals, so I'm going to be implementing them into my January TBR. So sneak peek into my goals video. But last year I was working on a video series, Backlist Bash, where I was reading all of the oldest books off of my TBR, and while I really enjoyed doing that series and going really hard in reading older books, I did get burnt out with reading, 4 or 5 books a month that was just dedicated to one video. So I stopped doing it for this year, but I do want to keep prioritizing my backlist books. So around Halloween, I got a really cute mushroom skull jar, and in here I have all of my oldest books on my TBR. Everything in here was added in 2021, and every month I'm going to pick one out of this jar, just keep picking away at it until I have all of them read from that year. This would also be a good thing to use for mood reading as well. Whenever I can't decide what to read, I'll pick one out of here and try and get more of my backlist books read. Let's pick our first book out of the jar. Actually, wait, he needs a name first. Barry. Backlist Barry. So let's pick a book out of Backlist Barry over here. Let's see. Try very hard not to drop him, and I'll let you go first. Can you see it? Is it gonna... Can you see anything? I don't know if you can see that or not, but let's see what it is. We Hunt the Flames. Ooh, alright, that's interesting. Do I have this book? Hang on a second. I thought I owned this book, but no, I do not. So, We Hunt the Flames by, is that by Hafsah Faizal, maybe? That is a booktube darling that I've tragically not gotten to yet, but this month that will be rectified. I also have a goal to read more nonfiction this year. I want to read at least 12 nonfiction books. So ideally, one a month would be great, and I have decided to go with The Cree Word for Love by Tracey, Lindberg and George Littlechild. This is the most recent nonfiction book that I purchased, and this explores the concept of love in Cree culture. I bought this one, I think, in November, mainly because the cover is just so beautiful and I couldn't say no to it. There's also some really beautiful illustrations in here as well, and it just seems like a beautiful topic to read about as well, so I thought it would be a good one to pick up, and I'm very much looking forward to getting to this one. Another goal is to read more translated books. I think I put my goal to read at least 6 translated books, and I'm going to be adding Our Share of Night onto my January TBR because I've had that book out from the library for quite a while, and I just keep suspending it because it's like a 27-hour long audiobook, and I just haven't been in the mood for a really long, dense book, but I kind of am in the mood for that now, so I'm going to add it onto this TBR and hope for the best. Fingers crossed I actually get around to this one because I do really want to read it. I'm just scared of long books for some reason. My attention span is terrible, so short books usually do better for me, but I do want to be more into long books, and this one, it seems fantastic, so hopefully I end up loving it. I have a goal to read more big books or books that intimidate me as well, and I'm going to be using The Shadow of the Gods to fulfill this goal for this month. Between this one and Our Share of Night, I cannot handle having one more big book on here. I normally would consider a big book to be over 500 pages, and this one is less than that, but like I said earlier, the content of this book intimidate me, so I'm going to count it towards this goal. And then I would like to also read more books off of my own shelf. My goal, I think, is to do 25% minimum off of my own shelf, preferably higher though. So I already have The Cree Word for Love that I own, but I do want to pick one more to officially add to the TBR, and then as I mood reading throughout the rest of the month, I'll try and prioritize my own shelf. So what do I want to go with? Ooh, I have so many ones that I kind of want to get to, but I don't know exactly which one to pick. I still have my trying to tackle sequels goal that I want to get to, so maybe I should do myself a favor and pick a sequel. That would probably be wise. Ooh, do I want to do Heart of Flames? No, that's really big. I don't want to do a huge book. Ooh, okay. I'm going to do one that's been on the TBR a couple of times, and I have yet to get to it, so I'm going to do the second book in the Dark Vault, which is The Archive by VE Schwab. I read book 1 quite a while ago, and then just never got around to book 2. This has been on every TBR since September, I'm pretty sure, so it's time I finally got around to it, so I will add this one on here once again. And you know what, just for funsies, I'm gonna add on one more as well. Let's see, what else do I want to put on here? There are so many books that I want to read. I forgot to add one. The Every Heart a Doorway series is always one of the first books that I read in the year, so that one will also be on there. I just don't own it yet because it hasn't been released yet, but I do have an arc of the audiobook, and I'm very happy about that. I'm so excited for it. But anyways, adding one more that I actually own onto my TBR for this month. I don't want to start another series, but I kind of also do. Okay, I actually can't decide right now, so I'm just gonna leave that for mood reading, and I'll pick one later on. Just try and hold myself accountable to actually do that. And then a few extra things that are going to be hitting my Libby shelf in the next few weeks. So Rewitched, I actually already have out. It was intended to be an October, maybe September read for spooky season, but it's been a very long hold on Libby, so it's finally mine, and I can't wait to get to it. It sounds great, and I've heard really good things about it. Couldn't tell you what it's about, I'm not gonna lie. This one I added to my TBR purely based on hype and the cover, so no idea what the plot is, but from what I've gathered, it's like a cozy, witchy romance sort of thing. At least I'm hoping that's what it is. I'll find out. I also have Mate from Ali Hazelwood, the sequel to Bride. I currently have the audiobook out, but again, not going to get to it before the end of the year, so that'll be a January read. And then Stay in the Light by A.M. Shine, which is the sequel to The Watchers, so lots of sequels this month. Look at me go. I didn't love The Watchers. I read that for an episode of Page to Screen, where I read the book and then watched the movie. It was not a great book. It's also not a great movie, but I'm hoping that the sequel expands on some things and maybe improves on some of the things that I thought maybe could have been better about the book. So fingers crossed it ends up being really good. I kind of doubt it. I have low expectations, but maybe I'll be surprised. And then, as I mentioned, I have the newest Wayward Children series as an advanced listening copy, and I also have Shy Girl by Mia Ballard as an advanced listening copy as well. So I'll also be reading that one in January. This ended up being way more books than I intended, so who knows how much time I'll have for mood reading after that, but I'll do my best. We'll see what I can do about it. I swear more of them will be off of my actual shelf. Please hold me accountable. But that should do it for the January TBR. Let me know what you're planning on reading in January down in the comments. And if you've read any of the ones that I'm planning on reading, let me know what you thought of them. I'd love to hear it. But in the meantime, thanks a bunch for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next video.